We're going to start with this hoop. So I have it in gold. However, you can also take a regular hula hoop, spray paint it, cover it in ribbon, or just use it as is. Here we have the greenery, and you can find all of these products available at nicksseasonaldecor.com. This is one of my favorites because it's not wired going up the stem. So when you secure it to something like this and have it hanging from a ceiling, it actually just has that beautiful cascade, creating a really cool illusion. So we're going to cut each stem off individually, like so. And then what we can do is throughout the entire hoop, we can just take a zip tie and secure it. And then snip off the zip tie. Keep in mind, this is going to be above your head, so you're not going to see those zip ties in the end. You're just going to see this beautiful greenery cascading down below. So we're going to come back in with another piece. We want to place these close enough to have that beautiful chandelier effect, but not too close where it's just essentially a wall of greenery. We want to be able to see through it in bits and pieces. That way we have a beautiful effect. So really secure those zip ties and then just snip the ends off. And by using the zip ties, it means if we have to move them, we can just slide them up and down the hoop. And there's our first spray. So just to show you guys the effect, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see it hanging all down in front like that. Now we'll just continue with more of them. Doesn't matter really which way you face it, because once you hang it up, all of them will be facing downhill anyway. So a zip tie is the easiest way to do this, and the most efficient. It'll keep it nice and secured, and you don't have to worry about it falling off. Zip ties can hold a lot of weight, and this greenery isn't heavy by any means. You could also be doing this with some hanging succulents. What's really trendy right now are things like string of pearls and string of turtles and all of that cascading foliage. We're going to take another zip tie. This is our third spray. And each spray has 3 individual stems. So for some added texture, we're going to come back in with this, which is a different texture and different color. So it's just going to add a more realistic look. So I really love this. This is like a form of succulent. And instead of cutting each piece individually, what we're going to do is just snip our tag off. And then just cut below the lowest leaf node. And then we can separate it just by stretching it. And then we have 2 separate pieces that we can work in just using one zip tie. So I'll place a piece here. And that'll just sit in between. And the pros to making your own, you guys, is that the sky truly is the limit. If you want more greenery, you could always work in more. If you want different colors or kind of a curtain of flowers, you can do that as well. Something like this, which is just a basic greenery, caters to so many different events, and this would be the perfect wedding piece. On a budget, too. It's not going to cost a whole lot, and you're going to get that wow factor. Now we're going to come back in with our final piece. I don't want to work in much more greenery than this, or else we're going to lose that chandelier effect. I think chandeliers should be able to be seen through, and we don't want that wall-to-wall greenery. So there is our final piece. So now what we can do is decide if we want to add flowers, embellishments. Truly, the next part is the most fun part because you can decide how to make it your own. Now it's time for our finishing touch, which is going to be one of our value bushes. These are the white variety, and I think this is going to be perfect for weddings. Monochromatic, not too much color, and not too much pizzazz. So these, what we have to do first and foremost is open them up. So here you see one that's a little bit more enclosed. Just pull apart each stem. There's 8 stems per spray, and we're going to keep these rather close. These are going to add a little bit of height to the design and take a little bit away from the top being plain. So we're going to take these, and then we're going to zip tie them all the way around. So take your zip tie. We're not even going to cut the stems. We're going to keep it all together. And then just tighten it really tight. So we don't want these to swivel like we do with the greenery. So make sure you're putting some force on it to keep it from swiveling. Coming back in with your next spray. And we can worry about fluffing it exactly how we want a little bit later on. We continued working in a few more of these white filler branches. And now what we're going to do is come back in with our final few. So again, just insert your bush right into the zip tie, tighten it really tight, snip it off. And by using just the zip ties, you guys, if you're doing this for an event or if you're doing this for a party or celebration, you can always remove all of this stuff and use it elsewhere. Put it into a wreath, a swag, a garland, or even an arrangement. So there is our final piece. We'll snip off that zip tie. Now it's time to show you guys how we're going to hang this from a tree, from an arbor, anywhere your heart desires. So here we have some wire. We carry this in both silver and gold, And don't let the width confuse you or scare you. This is a very sturdy wire. It has this coating on the outside, which makes it incredibly sturdy. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie it right to the frame. And this is not a heavy chandelier. It's very lightweight. We didn't use a whole lot of bulk. And by using one of these metal embroidery hoops, it's very light. It's not a super heavy design. So we're going to tie it there. And then what we're going to do is decide how high up we want to go, which is about here to me. So we just can cut off a length. And then make sure you do at least 2 or 3 knots so that you don't lose one side of this. We're going to tie this in 3 different points, but we still want to make sure all 3 wires are actually secured. So once you have that, you have a nice wire that you can lift it up on, but we're not done yet. We have to add 1 more wire. So we're going to secure 1 more wire in a triangle formation. So you want those 3 wires kind of in an equilateral triangle. We're going to tie this one here. And then what we can do is cut off a length. I'm going to cut it longer than I need. That way we can hang it from our tree. So I'm just going to stretch the wires. This is where I need to tie it so that they're all even. Just like that. So now we'll do another knot just to ensure it's not going anywhere. And you can just ball that up and you could actually add a little touch of ribbon there, but you're not really going to see this under our tree. Now what we can do is take the leftover wire. We have those 3 wires in a triangle. This final wire that's not attached to anything, we can tie that from our tree, and then we're going to have a balanced chandelier. Still see some of the zip ties on the interior, but with the way we added our greenery and our florals all the way around the outside, they're covered up. So this is actually going to be above you, so you're not going to see any of those zip ties. You could absolutely come back in with additional greenery to cover it up, but to stay budget friendly, I decided to just leave it as is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hang this from our big maple tree in our front yard to give you the full reveal. And this is how it looks in my yard. I absolutely love it. I think it looks so pretty. If we were having an event, this would be beautiful for it. You could also place this underneath an umbrella on your patio. You can have these hanging at a wedding. They're very economical, and it created for an absolutely stunning design. So we again used a 24-inch embroidery hoop, added some cascading greenery using some zip ties, and then created a beautiful ring of white baby's breath all the way on the top to add a little bit of bulk. So thank you all so much for watching. This is Nick Kretikos of Nick's Seasonal Decor, and you're watching me on Hometalk.